Morning. All right, so it's 20 past 10 here. Hopefully we're going to upload this at 11:30. Just a few things that are basically announcements, really. We want to ask everyone to download an app called Zoom. It's very similar to Skype, only it's much better, and it's got some particular advantages that we want to use. Next Saturday at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we've got a prayer and fast with Ireland, and we want to do that on Zoom and not on Skype, because Skype always causes problems, or it always has, and Zoom's better. And there's other ideas as well in the one thing I want to do as soon as we can get the technical side sorted out is every day we have a very short what they call a soundbite or a Bible nugget. So someone in the assembly locally or further away will put something up 2 or 3 minutes, not on YouTube, on Zoom, and on Zoom things stay there for 24 hours. So and then the next day somebody else, just something very short, not a 10-minute talk. That would be too much. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is just to keep us fed and watered, and the other one is that we can see people because we're not going to see a lot of each other for a period of time, which is sad. I was in the hall the other day and walking around, and you just think, it's sad, but you can't dwell on that really. You've just got to make the most of the situation as it is. So download Zoom. All right, Monty's going to be the one that's going to control it really. When we're all on together, he'll be able to control your microphone. So if you forget and you start, pottering about, he can switch it off. This coming Tuesday also, there's an international prayer and fast. Pastor Paul's called for it. I should have got hold of my notes a good idea all over the world. All the assemblies over the world are affected, obviously, and many can't meet. Many are in places where you actually are not allowed to leave your house unless you go, and you have to tell the police where you're going. We're not in that state, but we've still been asked to do this. And so there's an international prayer and fast for the assemblies. I think it's Proverbs chapter 3 that the one. Sorry, I haven't got the notes here. But it says about not being, it ends up with not being, trusting the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding. And then there's a couple of other things that it says, be not wise in your own eyes. That'll be the thing. And on Tuesday, no particular meeting, as I say, if we can get these little Zoom talks going, but that won't be necessarily to do with that. So we've got Zoom for next Saturday, Zoom for a daily thing, the likes of Collins and John Bovis and Nathan Manning. So we'll end up with a little rota, and then you'll get to hear them and to see them and to see whoever's in their house. Hopefully, one of the ideas of these videos is that somewhere along the line you get to see faces. And yes. 4 o'clock today, at 4 o'clock. So this should go on about 11:30. At 4 o'clock today, we're hoping to put a second talk up from somebody in another assembly. I won't mention him in case he can't quite do it. It's all new to us, fairly new to us. But the idea is there'll be a second talk at 4 o'clock, a little kind of presentation, something that I've heard before. That's why I picked it to start with. And then the idea every Sunday is that we'll do that. We'll put something up at 11 or half 11, and at 4 o'clock we put something else up for your to feed you, obviously, and because they're on YouTube, they'll sit there, and you can do that. Okay, just about the situation, really. Some people have not so much here. We all seem to be. Our heads on, we seem to see things the same way here, but just in the religious world generally, there are some people that believe you shouldn't stop meeting, and this type of thing. And there is a thing also that people's realization of the seriousness of the situation dawns on them in different stages. A couple of weeks ago, I wouldn't have been seen it like this, but neither did the government. So, and they haven't actually specifically said that churches can't meet. But what they have said is don't get together in groups, big or small. The social distancing, don't visit each other. And so it definitely, even if it doesn't specifically say us, it obviously means what we do. Because we are close for quite a long time. And there is a cause. I sent a little video out yesterday. Some of you might have seen it, about how pandemics work. And it can seem to be that there's nothing going on, and it's overblown, and everyone's and this explains why when it looks like that, it's not like that. And statistically, then that's what I sent the little video about, which I thought was very good. But just another little thing as well. I was watching the news, and there was a lady on the news, Sky News, and I think it's called muscular dystrophy, and so she has this wasting illness, and it had her on. She's about in her 40s, Scottish woman, and her carer, and they were talking, and he was saying, what happens if the carer, because what's happened to the lady is she's deteriorated to the point where her voice is no longer clear because the muscles are gone. And they were saying, what will happen if the carer gets coronavirus? Because she's the only one that can understand the sick lady. She can understand her. And they were all sad about that. And then the lady with muscular dystrophy, she is actually dying, the woman. She maybe got a couple of years ago. I don't know how it goes with all that. But it does in the end kill you. That's the way of it. And she said a very interesting thing. And she said, if the NHS gets overwhelmed, if it gets to that point, she says the doctors have to choose who lives and who dies. And she said they won't choose me. And it really struck home to me that, like, up to that point, I was thinking of going to London to have a little look around on an empty train and walk around the empty streets, which probably would have been a stupid idea anyway. But when I watched it, I thought, no, just don't go. Just don't go. And you may think, well, she's dying anyway. Well, so what? You know what I mean? She cried for whatever life she's got left. And so there is a cause to all this. And I spoke to a lot of people in the week, and they had a thing in the war, the Second World War, and they had a poster, and it was a man with a little girl, and the little girl was saying to the man, what did you do in the war, Daddy? And the idea was, don't do nothing, play your part. Quite a strong poster, really, because it was during the war, and it was how would it be afterwards if you couldn't answer. So yeah, we play our part and do what the government asks us. I think they know what they're doing, so far as I know, anyway. And then we want to go further than that, really, and look at things as Christians too. But as Christians, though, we're happy to go along with what's going on in the sense of the distancing and slowing down the problem. That's all I'm trying to do, slow it down, and we play a part in that. All right. Any questions? I've got Marion and Lawrence gawking at me. So they can say hello later. Luke chapter 17. One other little thing before I forget. So today's Sunday, and I'm not live. I'm about an hour before you get to see this, or anyone gets to see it first. And there's a couple of things. Obviously, there's a few things that are missing. One is singing. The idea with the second talk is that it comes from somewhere else often. So today I've asked someone in another assembly to do it. I don't mention it in case it doesn't come up. It's almost certain to be there, but not 100%. And but the testimony is going to come from there as well. So I think our own testimonies down this medium and the way things are will be a little bit. We could do with something from outside for that. So that would be the plan, to have a testimony along with the second talk on a Sunday, 4:00. Obviously there's no singing, there's no choruses. Maybe somewhere along the line